Hi there, I'm Bradley Barth, Deputy Editor at SC Media, and I'm here today with Nandita Bery, Director of Security Education and Development at Equinix, a global digital infrastructure and data center provider. Nandita is one of SC Media's 2021 Women in IT Security, winning in the Industry Veterans category for her work in the realm of security education and training, particularly for her key role in developing a cyber ambassador program at the company. Some of the key points of which is currently being adapted into an upcoming ambassador credentials program, which we'll talk about a little bit soon. Prior to her time at Equinix, Nandita held information security leadership roles at Barclays and NBC Universal Media. Congratulations, Nandita, on your recognition this year, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you.
Thank you. It's really exciting.
Well, let's start by talking a little bit about some of the security awareness training challenges of working for such a large global organization, which in your case with Equinix, numbers in the thousands, something like 13,000 plus users, many different corners of the globe, different languages being spoken. That presents challenges, does it not?
It does, and not only does the reach, just getting to people and getting them to pay attention from their daily work, we're not in their area necessarily, we're not somebody that they see on a daily basis, and should they care about the messaging and the information we're providing, but the culture, like you said, the languages, it's amazing how things vary, where you can present content in the Americas in a way that is meant to be informative and direct, can be taken in a completely different way on the other side of the globe. So you just have to really be aware of how you're presenting all that.
Absolutely. Now, talk a little bit about your development of this Cyber Ambassador program to spread this message to the various different facets and departments within your company, and sort of what it entails.
So the Ambassador program is something that we launched here, brand new. Other companies have done it in different levels, and it's a really great way to scale your awareness program. Not many companies have a lot of people doing this role, and so it's always understaffed, and it's always stretched very thin. And reaching out to different people across the company and having them participate in gathering the messaging and sharing it forward really helps scale, and really helps spread the message. So everybody's interested in cybersecurity now. It impacts you not just at work, but it impacts you at home as well. So they join our program so that they can improve their knowledge and information, and we offer them that insight. Having a seat within the InfoSec team gives us privileged access to up-to-the-minute information and news and trends, and people are excited to hear that. And so we put ourselves in a position where we share that information with them. We make them empowered. We enlighten them with this information so they feel like they have something really important to share, and they hold their own events and talks. And even if they just share it with their own teams, we've multiplied our reach, X times whatever number that we can get. Within 8 months of launching the program, we already are at 160 members globally, and we have people in all offices, far-flung reaches, places that we might not get the attention if it was just us sitting here with our own little microphone.
And now, some of the lessons from this Cyber Ambassador program can really be applied externally to other organizations. And one of the ways that this will be happening in the future is through a credentials program that you're developing with the SANS Institute. And this is also something that security professionals and inspiring security professionals could look at also as a notch on their belt or a bullet point on their resume as somebody trained in the area of cyber ambassadorship. So just talk a little bit about how this particular initiative came about and where things stand in terms of its development.
So I have done ambassador programs previously. Barclays had a very large ambassador program, and people were very interested in the material and content. So this is something I've seen succeed in multiple places. When I came to Equinix, the leadership was very vested in this program, and seeing how far we went in just a few months, they were in full support of anything we came up with. So as we found ways to recognize the cyber ambassadors, that really keeps them engaged and keeps them motivated to spread the messaging and, get involved and spread the awareness. We found that recognizing them, not just with internal recognition in our, town halls and leadership meetings and giving them the thanks that we have. A lot of companies have these types of internal platforms, but we found that it's also very valuable for them to be able to put something that's more outwardly recognizable. And in addition, with the increase in cybersecurity and the visibility in companies realizing how critical it is, for a person to be able to say that they have a certain level of knowledge and awareness and engagement and recognize that and represent that in a way that is accepted, across the industry, across the world. I thought of SANS. They're a thought leader in the industry. They provide a lot of great forums and resources on awareness that have been applicable. I've met a lot of people around the world through their forums who I have, used their guidance, and they've used ours and ideas and suggestions and a lot of, interactions. So I approached them, and they actually immediately said, this is a really great idea, because there is definitely, the time is right to put something like this forward. So they wasted no time in jumping on it. We reached out to a couple of the other awareness people in, the forums that they have, and they also tapped other very active members. And we've started talks about what this means, what will be the qualifications, what will somebody need to get, and then what's the end result coming out of the SANS credential. So I'm really excited about it, because having somebody recognize that and having that idea is it's just really validating. And I think that this will be something that all companies can leverage to scale their awareness programs. And it's a really useful tool to get recognition for people who do this, because it is ultimately, being an ambassador, additional work on top of your regular job. So whatever you can do to incentivize people to do that can only help.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Can you share a little more in terms of what stage this credentials program is in terms of overall development? Are you still hammering out what particular types of skills will be emphasized in this program to be teaching the people who go through this program, what the testing process would potentially be, and do you have an idea of when it would launch?
Yeah, we're working together to decide what it means to be an ambassador, what kind of additional training the person should complete, to baseline their knowledge and their fundamentals, and what it means to different industries, different size companies, so that we can represent all of those needs in this credential. Right now, we're aiming to be done by end of this year or Q1 of next year, and have it be shared with other companies and let them also leverage using this. Yeah. So that's where we are right now, and I'm really looking forward to having that rolled out, because we definitely can't wait to use it.
One particular aspect of the Cyber Ambassador program that you are operating at Equinix involves kind of a tiering system, right? You have something like 3 different levels of ambassadors. I don't know if that's a suggestion that you've also made to apply toward any kind of a credentials program. If it is, or even if it isn't, maybe you could share a little bit about how that aspect of the program works, and how do you graduate from tier to tier? What do you need to do to get to that next level?
So we do have the tiers. Mainly, it gives people something to work towards and progress as you're in the program for a few years. Keeps it interesting, and also, inevitably, you're going to find people that just don't have as much time to dedicate as other people. So to keep that momentum going, the tiering really helps people feel like they're achieving something a little bit more than somebody else who isn't able to spend as much time. So we currently have 3 tiers, and from what I've gathered in talking to other people that are doing these types of things, that seems to be kind of the norm. 3 levels is what they usually do. Just joining the program puts you at the first level, and then you usually have requirements like you have to join our monthly talks in which we're discussing and presenting content. You have to take leadership in picking some of the content and sharing it forward, whether you share it at your own staff meeting or whether you do a little talk in your own office or region. You could even do something simple like handing out the information. So we try to keep it so that it's doable by people of any job and level and personality type, you know, if you don't want to be that outward facing. And so the levels earn from what type of paying it forward you're doing, how much, how many times you join, and then each level has its own training module that we picked out with some of the companies that we work with for providing training. So basically, the more visible you become, the more you progress in the levels.
Okay, you're very interesting, and it's going to be a fascinating process to watch this develop, and it's something that certainly organizations and security professionals will want to keep an eye on in terms of when this program becomes available, so that they can develop more skills in this area. In the meantime, let's talk about some of the other things outside of cyber ambassadorship that you've also been involved with recently. And so internally within your company, another thing you've been doing to spread that security awareness message is just you've been leveraging social media. I know Yammer has been one particular tool that you've been emphasizing. What have you been doing in that area?
So we wanted to create a lot of buzz and a lot of conversation and really reach out as many people as we could. And we started by posting some things in our internal social media where we used Yammer. And as we started to get a pulse of the kind of content people were responding to, we created more and more of it, and we have a nice little cadence going. We do some really cool gamification. People seem to love games, even if they're educational, they enjoy them. And we do a lot of infographics. We found that videos don't seem to do that well on those types of social media forums somehow, which was a surprise. But we have a lot of data analytics and metrics that we follow on our social media channel so that we can see what kind of regions are engaging at what time of day, what day of the week, what kind of content is relevant to different regions. That's another thing we found with leveraging cyber ambassadors. You also learn what topics are more important to different areas of the world. Mm-hmm. So using all of that data, we then, it's fun because it's social media and we're doing a lot of really, interesting, fun things and posting on there. But it's also very scientific because we're really taking into account the numbers and the what impact is having, what content, what day, how many people. We have some pretty huge numbers. So out of 13,000 employees, a decent post, at least once or twice a week, will get about 9,000 views on it. We get a lot of engagement. We get a lot of people sharing the posts. So the momentum has just been continuing, and it's exciting because you do the work and you know that people are watching it and interested and giving feedback. But then it's also a little daunting because you need to keep that excitement and momentum going. And it's, you start to worry, how long can I keep this up? So we're good.
Can you give an example of what might have been one of your more successful and engaged with campaigns or games that you did or something along those lines?
We made a game that was based on a currently trending game amongst a lot of ages called Among Others, I think it's called.
Among Us.
Among Us, that's it. Okay, so we changed it to Among Others, that's it. And so we modeled after that game, and we made it a social engineering game where the person is walking around and trying to pick up tidbits of information from people's desks and talking to people and overhearing conversation in the office. So it has a visual that's like that. And we had posted the game, and the number of plays we got was like well into the hundreds. And for a game that takes that much time to play and learn, to get 600 people playing it and posting their score is a big win for us, and really pays off for the amount of time that went into making that game. So that was one of the big ones.
That's a fun one. I like that. Let's also spend a couple of minutes talking about your efforts to empower other women within the cybersecurity community, or women that are interested in joining the cybersecurity community. And so I know one thing that you've been pretty heavily involved with within your own company is you created a group called Be Bold. Explain what that is.
So Be Bold is a group for the women in, we right now started small. We're basically the women in the security team, but we'll slowly grow it to include whoever. It's not closed off. That's just kind of how we started it. Found that when I graduated with my degree in engineering several years ago, there was a very small proportion of women in the field, and it was something to feel empowered to speak and have your say in meetings and projects, and push your way through. Fast forward all these years later, and it's actually, there are fewer women in technology, and especially in security. Cyber really has very few women in it. So I kind of scratched my head and looked around and had casual conversations with the other women, and came to see that there's a common theme for what it is that makes women less likely to be in the field, or even less likely to continue or pause and just change direction. So we found that feeling confident in speaking out or taking risk or being heard and visible was a challenge. So we started the group, and we call it Be Bold because that's basically what it is. And honestly, it's even open to the men if they feel like they would benefit from something like that. But right now we have about 35 women. We meet once a month, we share stories, we share guidance and tips and talk, and it's a really positive environment to find that you're not alone in some of the challenges you have, and there are really great solutions that other people may have gone through and can help you with. So it's been pretty successful. We're really happy with it, and I definitely think that there's really good value, and I think that it's a good water cooler place to have for any company. I'm also mentoring a couple of underrepresented programs that have students that would like guidance in getting careers in technology. So I also do some mentoring with that, finding that I actually have a lot to say. So might as well say it to people who want to hear it.
Absolutely. With the Be Bold initiative, is that something in terms of, like you said, getting other women in the field to feel confident and comfortable in speaking up and finding their voice? Was that something that was a little bit of an evolution for you throughout your career? Was it something where early on you struggled to find your voice a little bit, and then over time you gained more confidence, and maybe you had mentors, or were you kind of from the beginning, you felt you were ready to speak up?
I've never really had problems saying what I think and being heard. But having said that, when you're in a room or in a project or team meeting and you're the only female and there's 20 people, there's a lot of stereotype and a lot of standard thought that goes behind. If I say something, is this what they're going to think? If I say something, is that what they're going to think? So you end up holding back sometimes, or you wait too long, and you may not have said something right away that you should have. So I think that even if somebody like me can second guess myself and not say things, then I can't even imagine people whose personality types aren't as vocal, how they're coping with it. And in technology in general, I find that the mentality is, do the work, put your head down, do the work. The kind of people that are drawn into it are all about, grabbing their program and running with it, or sitting down and just flying through work. And they don't necessarily work on those kinds of skills of stepping back, and they think they'll just be recognized as they do their work, and somebody will just propel them forward or push them out to the limelight. But that's not always the case. So this way, being able to mentor people with some of the things that I've been through, some of the things that have succeeded, and some of the mistakes that I've made, I think is the least that I can do. It's really helpful.
Well, great. Thanks so very much, Nandita. I'm really happy that you could join us today and just share your points of view, and congratulations again on recognition as one of our 2021 Women in IT Security.
Thank you. It's really exciting.
I appreciate all of our listeners for joining us today. I'm Bradley Barth with SC Media. Until next time, have a safe day online.